One experience or one time in my life where I really felt Swami's presence and omnipresence and him really, working on me and building me up was when I finished my studies. So during my education, it was in Auckland in New Zealand, I studied an arts degree and I studied poverty and human rights and environment, and I really felt, Swami, there's so much suffering in the world and I want to use my career and my life to contribute in some way. And so that was the track me and all my friends were heading in. And then somehow, I don't really know how it happened, but I ended up working in a business consulting firm. And I got this job in Australia, and I never was even looking for this kind of job, but I moved to Melbourne and it was a big international firm. Everyone around me was quite impressed. I would wear suits and go to these 5-star meals and earning money like I had never seen. But the work was really difficult and not fulfilling. We were helping corporates make more money and restructure and lay off people. And somehow I thought, okay, Swami, you've put me here. Let me try and do this job. And so I kind of put in my best effort and tried to, do it as best as I could. And what was exciting was they said, once you've been here for 18 months, you can then do some cool social impact projects. And we have these amazing international NGOs and NGOs in the country and very rural communities, and you can travel. And it was like the candy, the carrot. So I thought, okay, this is the way, Swami, I can get to that work where I'll really be serving you and doing what I feel really inspired to do. So, okay, that was my motivation. So I was working, and then 18 months was coming up. My lease was about to expire for the place a friend and I were renting. So we started looking for new properties, and then we were really struggling to find properties, and we were a bit confused because we were two people with good jobs. We didn't smoke, we didn't have pets. We were like, why is no one giving us a place? And eventually we found one place. It wasn't great, but we thought, we don't want to be homeless in 2 weeks. Let's sign the lease. And I remember sitting and talking to Swami one day and saying, okay, why is it so difficult, Swami? And I was getting a feeling, don't sign. But Swami, I'm going to be homeless. And so I said, let's just put it off for 1 or 2 days and see.
But why don't sign your feeling?
Something was not fitting well. Maybe the place, and I was rationalizing, maybe the place is not good, maybe something better will come. But I was just not feeling, okay, I said, let me sleep on it. I can't afford to wait too long because we'll be homeless in 2 weeks. So, okay, I said, let's sleep on it. The next day I go to work, and I had a meeting with my mentor in the firm. And I was going to tell her, okay, now 18 months is coming up. What cool projects can we do for next year and what's possible? And she sits me down and says, Shruthi, I have something important to share with you. And I asked her, okay, what is it? I've been waiting for this meeting. She says, I had a talk with the seniors in the firm, and we want you to leave the company. And I was gutted. I just immediately started crying. I said, what do you mean? And they said, oh, we just think this work is not suited for you. You're not performing well. We'd like you to leave. We'll help you transition. We'll give you a career coach and some time. And I was just bawling. I'd never cried in an office like that. And I couldn't take the news. I felt Swami let me down. My self-confidence, felt so rejected, so shattered. I was, 21 years old at the time. It was my first job. I had not, and I think part of it was I had this kind of easy schooling life where studies came somewhat easily, and I was used to doing well. There were small failures, but this felt like, I was nothing. I remember telling my parents and crying to them, and they said, don't worry, come home. We knew you were struggling. They were consoling me, but I felt so distraught. And my confidence was just, and so I didn't know what to do. I came home that evening and I realized, wow, thank goodness I didn't sign the lease. Because had I signed the lease, I would have paid the deposit. I would have lost a whole lot of money, been stuck in this apartment beside the office for another 18 months. Clearly, Swami has some other plan. So I thought, okay, thank goodness, Swami. I was very angry, crying and upset, but I thought, okay, there must be something in this. He hasn't left me. And so I packed up my bags. Within 2 weeks, the furniture got sold. Luckily, my roommate bought all the furniture. It was very smooth, easy. And I came back to New Zealand. And I was wondering, okay, what to do with my life now? I clearly can't even do one job. Can I do any job? Will anyone want to hire me? I was feeling so bad. And I realized in that time, wow, I thought I was quite a confident person. And people have often even looked up to me, oh, Shruthi, you seem so confident, and you've taken these leadership roles in school and in the community and won these awards. And I realized, actually, my confidence has no foundation. It was based on affirmations from others, validation from others, roles I had. And I realized at that point, actually, if I'm really honest with myself, do I really have faith in myself? Not much. A little bit was there. And so it was quite a humbling period where I think Swami really broke me. And now I look back and I see, wow, suppose I had left with dignity. Okay, I'm choosing to leave the firm and do my own projects. My ego wouldn't have broken. I wouldn't have realized, wow, my confidence is so lacking. So years on, I'm grateful. But it was a period of really praying to Swami and saying, next time I get rejected from something, it's bound to happen in my life. I don't want to feel like this. I want to feel, okay, this is what it is. And feel more faith and with a smile on my face walk. So that came, and I started praying and seeing how I could take Swami's name and really going to his teachings. And of course, when you have that yearning, it was amazing actually. At the time, I was put on a Sai project to design study circles for the youth in our zone. And the first study circle I was given to work on was on self-confidence. And our zone coordinator at the time sat there and explained to me the big self and the small self, and we came up with exercises to do on the youth, but of course we had to do them first. So beautifully, Swami gave me a lot of guidance actually, now that I remember. It's a lifelong journey, but to rebuild. So anyway, this happened for a few months, and I was doing a few projects, and then somehow, I had met someone 3 months ago before I left the firm who connected me with someone who connected me with someone, and we had a wonderful conversation, and they said, come and work for me. They were in India. It was an NRI, an Indian from the US living in India with this vision of transforming education and working with schools in India. And I shared, this is what I like to do. These are my skills. This is clearly what I'm not good at doing. He says, no, I think there's a really good role here. And so I packed my bags and I flew to India, to the shock of my family and my peers. She's leaving this stable.
Which year was this?
This was 2015.
Oh, okay.
So I'd left this very stable job, and I was working for some brand that no one knew, making no money in some rural part in India. But I came with such an enthusiasm, and I realized, wow, Swami has given me amazing social impact work. We are working in education. It had a focus on it wasn't under Swami's name, but bringing values to the community with the most impoverished kids in another part of the world. It wasn't some random country. It was India, the land of Bharat, my own motherland. And I thought, wow, Swami, with my narrow eyes, I wanted to do some consulting project in some corner of Australia, and you brought me here. I felt so like, wow, Swami answers our prayers, but not in the ways we expect or the ways we know how. And so that work went on for some time, and eventually I came back. But I look now, and I think there's a couple of things that Swami really showed me in this time. One is, often there will be these painful and challenging situations. Actually, they're not painful. It's only situations where I don't like what's happening. But if I bear that pain and discomfort long enough, Swami will give me something much more valuable. If that situation never happened and I walked out feeling like I'm leaving this firm and I'm better than this, doing some cool project, I wouldn't have got that wealth of self-confidence that now I feel. And I look 10 years on, and I've had the courage to start projects. Some of them have failed, some of them have succeeded. We learn, we change to create my own kind of work. And I feel, wow, it's these kinds of experiences that Swami builds us up, and that kind of yearning to serve him through my work. I feel more than fulfilled. I feel, wow, but it's these painful and discomfort, painful situations and discomfort that are critical for building us. That was one thing. And then secondly, I realized Swami will always give us what we want. I really feel anything we desire, purely he'll give us. But of course the question is, when will I start desiring him? How long will I go on? Okay, Swami, I felt it was a very sincere desire to serve him through my work, but now when things don't go how I like, my prayer is, okay, Swami, can I have your love? Can I have faith? Can I have bhakti? Can I have trust? Because I realize you can keep giving my mind what it thinks it needs and what it thinks it will enjoy, but none of that will last. For the time will come, it'll go. The job will leave, the relationship will leave, the money will leave, whatever. But that faith or that bhakti or that trust is the most precious thing. And so slowly he's teaching me what really matters. But it's been really a formative experience where throughout the time, as much as I was angry at Swami, I felt he's guiding and he's caring for us, and he'll never let us go. Sometimes my suffering feels really big, and it's valid. But then I look at the world and I realize I'm really not suffering at all. And the kind of suffering in the world, look at the world now with the wars and the pandemics and the floods, and I'm like, wow, I have some pain, sure, it's valid, but my situation is really, 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 really full of grace. And I know Swami and I know his teachings, and I have my youths I can lean on. The other thing that's really helped me actually, sometimes where I felt really disconnected, it's amazing when we serve in the organization, because at least in these international roles, we're on calls all the time. And it gets tiring. Sometimes I feel I just want to be doing seva. I don't want to be sitting on calls. But I had a period when I was really feeling down, and literally every day I was with the other youths from around the world, and the meetings always start with Sister Vani saying, Saram everyone, how are you? Like Swami's always here. He's, I hear the faith of the others. I think the satsang, and it just lifts me up. And I think surely if these people have faith in this little situation, I'll be fine, So I think I don't think I can really do anything, but the faith of others and their wisdom and their strength carries me through. And I hope that, at times where I'm more connected and they're struggling, I can lend an ear and remind myself and remind each other, that Swami, of course, is here and life is beautiful with him.